On this week's show, Panthers Giant forward Bruce Graham. How you doing, Bruce?
How you doing?
Fine, thanks. Oh, Bruce, you've got something on the side of your mouth.
Oh.
Yeah. This is Cats Whiskers TV. Coming up on this week's show, we'll be looking back at the game against Cardiff and David Ling's fantastic 4-goal strike. We'll also be looking at some of your tweets that you sent us during the week about what you want us to discuss in tonight's show. And we'll also be looking ahead to a fabulous weekend with games against Sheffield and Belfast. But first, as ever, it's Paul Baum with the news.
As always, I'm Paul Baum and this is the news. Clan hope they've made the one and only change they need. Panthers fans enjoy being top in January. Giants announced new signing just minutes after new owner calls ice hockey sports entertainment. And that was the news.
Our reporter Aaron Lord joins us once again. You all right, mate?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Enjoyed last week. I think the viewers did as well.
It's good, wasn't it?
That's why we brought him back.
Yeah, thank you.
Cardiff. Wow, you know.
Main part of the show, Paul.
It's those pictures I've got.
It's those ironclad contracts. Now, anyway, Cardiff. Great victory, I thought. Some great performance by Ling. One of the tweets we got in, we asked people to send about the match. Good game, and Ling showed us what he's really capable of when the other teams failed to shut him down, and that was from One Panthers Nation on Twitter. So, yeah, great game by Ling.
Yeah, perfect. 4 goals. But overall, as well, the rest of the game, you know, not just the goals, but his performance. What more could you ask for, really, to be fair?
I mean, it wasn't a one-man show either. I mean, all the other lines worked hard. I think they was just not as clinical in front of goal as what he was.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he had a quadruple night, didn't he? And you know, that first goal, the way he faked the shot. I mean, I can't remember a Panthers player who could fake a shot like that. And you know, and the way he's been doing it all season. And you know, I don't want to talk too much about, you know, how he does it, just in case Tomo or somebody out there is actually watching us and works it out for themselves.
Yeah, because you know all about faking it, don't you?
Your missus does.
Moving on.
I told you. I told you.
Another tweet we received from Bob Malpass. Clinical victory, topped off with one of the best quality hat-tricks I've seen, not forgetting a brilliant save by K-Wall, and that's a really, really good point. He pulled off some real top-draw saves on Saturday night.
Yeah, he was on his A game, weren't he? I mean, that save, I think, you know, where I was sat, people just around was like, you know, open mouthed because they were like, how the hell has he gone and done that? Yeah, just was like, you know, and actually clawed. And the fact we were mentioning, you know, that he actually did reach back but then clawed it out. I mean, that is just the top of his game, isn't he? And great performance. But like you say, great whole team performance as well.
Yeah. So, any more tweets come through?
Yeah, we're going to ignore the one from Alistair Howie. Sorry, mate, that doesn't really cut the mustard.
So, no is the answer to your question.
But another one that's likely to cause a bit of discussion, I guess, is from Andrew Warren. He's saying, in his opinion, this year's Cardiff team is the least like a Devils side he's ever seen. You know, there's something missing. There's no, you know, the grit's not there, and the edge. And I think basically what he's saying is they're missing Voth.
I think that's a good point, because they look flat. They look very unlike a team that was out to give 120%.
Well, we talked about it last week, didn't we? what kind of response were we gonna see? Sorry, and as soon as we sort of scored, and you just couldn't see them getting anything from the game, could you really? And I think flat is a good word to use
because they didn't. Yeah, they had some good chances, and like we said, Kowalski had to make some really, really good saves, but they never looked like getting anything from the game.
Well, they didn't. I mean, I think all but for sort of 30 seconds, a minute, where we switched off towards the end of that second period, it could easily have been a shutout. But having said that, I've got to say that's the best I've seen them play Nottingham this season. I thought, they did actually turn up and play, so maybe Paul Reagan's words, did have some effect. But and I tell you, I thought I had his best game here all season. Devon Didiamete. I thought that was the best I've seen him all season.
So good
yeah. And I've got to say, I've got to be honest, I hardly noticed him. But I think we'll leave that one there.
He wasn't there.
No, I know. That's the joke. Yeah. Playoff tickets went on sale this week with a lot. I think it can only be described as negativity from some fan bases about, again, it being held in Nottingham, and I saw the usual, it's a Panther fest, it's all done for the Panthers, blah de blah de blah. Where else are you going to hold it?
Nowhere.
Nowhere at all.
No.
You don't think anywhere else is viable for holding the playoffs?
Well, nowhere springs to mind really when you look outside. Not just the arena itself. If you look at cities, etc. But Paul will tell you more about that.
Paul,
will I? No.
All right. Sheffield.
There's nothing around the arena. The arena's in the middle of nowhere. Everything that was around the arena they knocked down because nobody wanted it anymore. There's nothing there. Belfast, there's the problem of getting there.
But surely Belfast could be regarded as a viable alternative because you've got the space, you've got the arena with the space, you've got the facilities, you've got the hotel rooms. I mean, yeah, obviously it's a trip across the water, but it's not a huge amount to overcome with a lot of notice.
True, but it's an increased expense for the majority of the fans. I mean, all right, I can understand, Belfast fans' problem. They're the ones who have to travel over here every year. But when you compare the number of ones that would have to travel there to the number of ones that have to travel here, I think that's what the Elite League's looking at.
But do you think it'd be for 1 year as a one-off? Do you think it's worth a shot as a one-off?
You could give it a try.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but everybody knew, the deal was signed. Was it last season? A multi-year deal, so everybody knows that it's going to be at the NIC for a few years. Maybe after that, give somewhere else to go. But at the end of the day, they've chosen the NIC.
I mean, I'm only playing devil's advocate a bit because I don't honestly don't think there is a viable alternative to the NIC. It doesn't sell out. It gets close, but it doesn't sell out. So we know we've got enough seats. It's in the city centre. There's a load of hotel rooms and there's a load of bars. Now, I think the biggest gripe that people have is it's effectively a home venue for us, which it is. I mean, there's no argument.
Somebody there, hasn't it?
But this argument has only come out in the last 2 years since we won it. But it has.
It has. No, you're right, because I mean, wasn't that Sim's constant crack about it was great being in Nottingham because it was a neutral venue.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden it's not appropriate.
And now you've got fans of Sheffield and other teams moaning about the fact that they use our announcer. Yeah, the bloke from Basingstoke who does it twice a year.
I don't think he's done it once this year. Actually, I don't recall it.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't at all. But has anybody actually watched the Elite League show? They're forever moaning about, he's too familiar with the Panthers. Does Dave Sims ever use any of Sheffield's team's surnames? I don't think so. It's a bit pot and kettle, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got to look under the sombreros and see what's really going on.
They have indeed. So you bought your tickets?
I have, yes. I was there on Monday morning. 3:30 a.m.
Sad act. So,
When I'm sat in block 5, block 5 by the way, which I'm not happy about, I can say that right now.
Oh, I'll have them. I'll
yeah,
have off you.
yeah.
£75 each.
Well, you'll make a quid profit.
You know,
You can have that for going.
it's not a hat rack, my friends.
Put it there.
No, when I'm sat there, block 5, good ice seats, and you're up the gods in block 1.
Not a bad seat in the place.
That's very true. But
What? There is.
What?
Next to Dave Sims.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, I think. We ask you to send us your tweets about British ice hockey for us to discuss on the sofa. If you want to send tweets to us, you can do it any time. The Twitter address is @CatsWhiskersTV, and it is on the screen now. So, what we have?
Got one here from Adam Straw asking us to discuss what's going on in Braehead and the difficulties they're having and the injury problems.
thank you. Yeah, I think it's been mentioned on previous shows, hasn't it? They're not having the best of seasons. What can you say? It's just a mixture, isn't it?
It's odd, isn't it? Because they were genuine title favourites before the season started.
Yeah,
when the conferences were announced, and it just seems to have gone badly wrong for them.
I know a lot of people. I don't know whether a lot of people have thought of this, but they obviously lost Bannister at the start of the season. Now, could that have had an effect? Was he more important to the club and to the team than he maybe people thought? And it obviously hasn't worked out for the new management duo. But I don't know. Is it something like that possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember how many of the team were signed by Bannister.
Well, I think Kristanovic was coming back as a player. He wasn't coming back as coach. And they seem to have kept quite a few of last season's squad who did really, really well.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem to have worked.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is, well, like you mentioned, they were a tip for the league title when the conferences came out. Now, obviously, is that maybe pressure that they had from the off, which I don't personally see because, you know, nothing's been played yet. But maybe they didn't start well, and it's just snowballed, hasn't it? And with them being a new club, maybe they just haven't got the experience to, once they're in a rut, find a way out of it. And it's just going to be one of those seasons which, when they look back on it in next season and the season after, they'll, you know, it's good in one way that they've had a season like this and they'll be able to learn from it.
Yeah.
And they've just got to write this season off, do the best that they can do with the remaining games. If they can get to the playoffs, fantastic. That'll be a good end to the season, and just, you know, look forward to next season.
I mean, very quickly on the netminder situation there, they've obviously brought a new netminder in. We'll talk about them like later when we're looking ahead to the weekend. But, you know, they still suffered 2 losses at the weekend.
Like I say, it didn't work, did it? So, you know, Zemlak wasn't in the best of form. Having his coach tell the world that publicly, essentially, on the Sky Sports show wouldn't have helped. Because, you know, it's not going to, you know, we know being a goalie is all about confidence.
Yeah,
and that doesn't help. That really doesn't help it. But I think, you know, sometimes it's an easy thing to blame the netminder to, you know, because at the end of the day, he's the last line of defence, is the guardian, you know, and they'll just look around and say, you know, oh, he's the one, he's the nincompoop. But, you know, it's, as we've shown in the other way, it's all about the whole team. You know, so the whole team has got to look at themselves after a defeat.
Okay. Well, moving on, we've got one from David Spence. Interesting question, this.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm probably quite controversial, which is why I'm going to use it. And he wants to know, he's talking about the patronising round of applause for any young heir that completes the most basic of passes.
Why did you have to point it at me, Aaron?
Because
because I gave Aaron the first shot last time.
Very diplomatic of you.
So
Jono.
it's your turn. I'm the presenter. I just don't have an opinion.
Well, you're right about one of them. I can see where he's coming from. You know, I always, when I'm watching hockey, but you know, this argument about, you know, you shouldn't check kids in face masks. I'm sorry, but
Rubbish. What are they doing on there?
Exactly. No, exactly. If they're good enough, they're old enough.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing then, you know, you're not going to get somebody who's playing his first game. He's not going to be as good as David Ling. You know, come on, we know that. But, you know, they're being played for a reason because our coach thinks they're good enough, whether it's good enough for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, last shift of the game, however long, you know, somebody somewhere thinks they're good enough. They're a part of a team. So, I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, but it's the same when Dan Green's in net. I think, you know, he makes the simplest of saves and the arena erupts. Like, you know, it's like the one Kowalski on Saturday night where he sort of flicks it from behind him. And I think all the Cardiff fans thought that was in, the way they were acting. But I was in the perfect view to tell you that I haven't got a clue whether it was or not. But, you know, and it's that, I mean, maybe the players like it. I don't know. You know, maybe, again, it's that confidence thing, but it doesn't ring quite true to me, I must say. Anyway, what does Aaron think about it?
Yes.
Please,
What does Aaron think?
Cheers, Paul. Well, I think maybe I'll just touch on what Paul was saying towards the end of that. Is as a player, now for me it would be I'm just like the next guy. I have to think. Yes, I know I'm young and I know I've got a lot to learn, but I want to be treated just like anybody else on the ice. And for me personally, if I was in their skates, I wouldn't want that. You know, if I made a save or if I had a shot and it nearly went in, I don't want the, oh my God, he's, you know, well done and stuff like that, because that's my job. And I think if these players don't get ice time and aren't part of the team, then how are they ever going to progress? They need to experience what it's like to play against these top teams, to play in front of a packed crowd. Otherwise, we're not going to get the benefit in years down the line, are we? So, you know, you'll always get it, unfortunately, won't you?
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Any more?
I want to know what you think about it.
What? I agree. I agree with David Spence, to be honest. And I agree with what you guys said. You know, they're on the ice, therefore they should have no special privileges, no special treatment. You know, if it's a backup netminder makes a great save, then yeah, you applaud it. Of course you do. Same as if it's a young lad in a face cage gets checked into the boards. It's a check into the boards. You know, that it's what happens in hockey.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like throw
Don't like it,
if you don't. Yeah, you don't get offended just because he's a young kid. That's why he's out there, to learn them sort of things. So, yeah.
So you have got an opinion?
I have got an opinion.
Does that mean he's a presenter?
I've never been one of them.
I didn't say one.
I thought I'd get it in first. Go on.
Yeah. Are we doing Daryl's question now?
No.
Can't we do Daryl's question?
No, we can't do Daryl's question.
Can't you even ask Aaron about Daryl's question?
No.
Could we ask the student?
No.
Does that mean I'm going to do this one here then?
Yes.
Yeah. Chris Bowles asked, what is DAB really going to do at the Panthers? Well, Chris, I hope he scores goals.
Me too.
Score goals?
Well, that's pretty unanimous there. And I think on that, we'll leave it there. Looking ahead to the weekend now, we'll look at the Sheffield game a bit later, but first, Belfast on Saturday. Massive game, first against second.
Yeah.
As we record this, we are currently 6 points ahead. That could have all changed by the time this comes out. So, how important is it?
Well, it doesn't come much more important, does it, to be honest?
Shall we try cliches again?
Yeah. No, we're not going down that route. What can you say? I'm not going to say it's a must-win game.
No. Yeah, I think
because it's not that we've got it. Whatever happens, we've still got a cushion, and I think if I was, Corey, I'd be putting that message out, because the last thing you want is the players to be uptight. If we lose, if we go 2-0 down or whatever, it doesn't matter. We carry on playing our game that we've played for the last God knows how many weeks, because we know we can score goals and anything can happen in a hockey game, can't it? Let's be honest. So, but saying that, we must win it. No, it's a big game.
It's big. Obviously, Belfast has been dealt a bit of a blow. Netminder Stephen Murphy is injured. Defenseman Sam Roberts has got a broken collarbone, so that's going to rule them out for a while. We know that Giants have been quick to bring in netminding cover in the form of Garrett Zemlak, who was released by Braehead last week. So, does that... Well, it obviously changes the makeup of the team, but is that an advantage or disadvantage to him?
That's a very good question. And it could go either way. We've talked earlier about Zemlak's problems, just touched on those. But look at some of the performances he put in at the NIC last season.
And I think he performed quite reasonably for Braehead in the one performance he's had here this season. So he always seems to pull out his stormers for the NIC.
Yeah, but you got Giants, they're a D-man down now. And, obviously anybody in Sheffield will tell you they also got the worst of the Shield champagne deal. And to be honest, the way results are going at the moment, they might have done, but time will tell. But, so I can see that going either way. But it changes the dynamics of the team. But by the same token, it looks as though DAB will be in, because of Pat Gallivan's injury, so that changes ours as well. So interesting times ahead.
So moving on to Sunday's game, which is of course away at Sheffield. Now they've really had a momentum swing. They are picking up points. They're winning games. Do you think they're starting to look dangerous? I mean, there's still a 7-point cushion, but they're the team probably at the moment where I'm more looking over my shoulder at them rather than Belfast.
Well, actually, I quite fancy Sheffield for second, to be honest, over Belfast. Third, that is not. No, like you say, they've got the momentum, which some people think that's everything, don't they? The momentum, you need that momentum, but there is a good cushion for us there, and it's going to be an interesting game on Sunday, with obviously what happened with a certain Kelsey Wilson last time. I'm looking forward to that one. I think for the Panthers, if we get 3 points from the weekend, I think that's a good weekend for us. However, obviously I'd rather the 2 points on the Saturday and then the 1 point on the Sunday, but as long as we keep picking up points, that's the main thing that we've got to be doing at the moment. So it'll be a close game for both teams, obviously.
I want 4 points, all in regulation. I will accept nothing less. Paul,
you're not getting them from me. It's completely gone out of my head now. But they are big games. We've just got to. If I've remembered. We came out the game Saturday night, and everybody around us was, what's the score in Fife? What's the score in Belfast? None of that matters. None of that matters if we keep winning. We keep winning, people can go out there and do what they like. We're going to be still out there in front, strange as that seems.
It is strange.
I'm still not comfortable with it. Still not comfortable with it, no.
But no, you're absolutely right. We need to just be concerned with what we do until a point, when, I think more if at the minute, they overtake us. They say if they overtake us.
But Belfast, just to touch on it, they've got a tough game Sunday as well, against Coventry.
Well, they both. I mean, Coventry are in Sheffield on Saturday. That's going to be no walk in the park for Sheffield.
It's a big weekend.
And then Belfast at the Sky Dome on Sunday. That not an easy place to get 2 points.
You know, if we take 2 points on Saturday against Belfast, and then we take 2 points against Sheffield, Coventry beat Belfast on Sunday. That's a big message sent out, and it's another step on the ladder.
Yeah.
You know, so I know we mentioned it last weekend as well, but this is a big weekend for all the teams, and it's gonna.
I think they all are now. I think certainly the next three, 4, 5 weekends. Stop it with the cliches. They are. Yeah. You've just got. Oh God, I'm fine. I think.
Take one game at a time.
Yes. Well, I think I'm now fighting a losing battle, and we will end it there. Thanks, Aaron, for joining us once again.
That's
Pleasure
all
to
right,
have your company. Thank you. We will be back next week when, of course, we will be looking back at both games against Belfast and Sheffield. But until then, goodbye.
I'm not coming back after that.
You seen this Tom Sestito thread on Steel Talk?
What, the Jeremy Kyle show, British Ice Hockey Forums?